Hello, and welcome to What's New in Schoolnet for our Teacher Connect today. Today, we are going to look at the updates that are found in Schoolnet for the 2021 school year. If you notice at the very bottom of the slide deck, there is a bit.ly. With the bit.ly, you will receive step-by-step instructions as well with links for video tutorials for every update. And then once you get inside of the actual slide deck under the speaker notes, it's actually how you can use each new update inside of your classroom and what the benefits are. So once again, welcome to What's New in Schoolnet. So I just want to say hello. I'm Nicole Covington. I am one of Polk County Schools digital technology instruction facilitator. If you go through this and you would like some assistance or you need some ways to utilize these updates inside of your classroom, please send me an email. I also have my Twitter handle as well as my phone number. So once again, if you need any assistance, please do not hesitate to contact me. And once again, if you look at the very bottom of every slide deck is a bit.ly that will provide you access to this slide deck so that you can use this information as we continue to move on. All right, so today our session objective is to learn the new Schoolnet updates, as well as discuss how you can use each update inside of the classroom. All right, so for right now, I'm going to leave off of the slide deck and I'm going to actually go inside of each update so that you can see them in a live instance, so that you can see exactly what it is we're talking about, okay? All right, so this right here is your, throughout the presentation, when you hear me say home screen, this is the actual home screen that I'm actually referring to. So I just want to throw that out there to kind of make sure that when I refer to home screen, you know what the home screen is. So our very first update that we're going to look at is our personal scheduling template. So one of the features that is one of the updates inside of Schoolnet is the ability to, when you go to schedule assessment, that you can actually create a template so that every time you go to create an assessment and you want to schedule for your classroom, you don't have to go through each of those steps every time. You can save that those settings, and when you go to create your next assessment, those settings will already be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to go inside of a already created assessment so that because you can use that at any time to kind of make any changes. All right, so we're going to come over here. I'm going to toggle over here to test management. And right now we have one that's in progress. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this assessment. And we're going to wait for it to populate. All right. So let's say you've already created an assessment and I'm going to go ahead and schedule it. So I'm going to come over here to actual schedule information and I'm going to click edit because I want to kind of go through. So right here is the same screen that you would come across if you were creating an assessment for the very first time, or even if you were modifying an assessment. This is right here is the exact same screen that you would see. So if you scroll all the way down to the very bottom, you see where it says set these options as my personal template. Once you select that and click save, now that is going to be your personal template. And then when you go to actually create an assessment, if you look right here, you can click apply test options. And when you do so, it will pull all of the features that you have chosen, and it'll show here. So right here for these, all of these are your scheduling options. So depending on where you want the assessment, access to this assessment to be, what type of item features, student facing features. So, if they are allowed to pause a test or not pause a test. All those are options that you have when scheduling an actual assessment. And so once again, I could come down here to the bottom. I can say set these as my personal template. Even the sections that you are going to assign this assessment to also as well will also be saved. So you don't always have to go through assigning it. You can save it. And then you would click save. So once again, that's how you do so. And I also want to show you something else before it continues. So right over here, let's go back. Go back to that information. So if you notice on the bottom, and that's another feature that actually has been added, was the ability for students to be able to pause a test and to come back to it. So we've always kind of had the ability to pause it, but that they can pause it and come back in on a later date. So right here, it says allow students to resume a started test, allow students to pause tests. So that's actually a new update as well inside of Schoolnet. So I just wanted to show you guys that before we actually move on. So right now we're going to go back to home, and that's our first update. So our next update that we want to look at is called our Classroom Assessment Monitor widget, which is right here. So I've already kind of clicked on there. So this right here is kind of your shortcut to your assessment. So we have our assessment dashboard over here, but this Classroom Assessment Monitor is a really, 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 really awesome feature that they have. So you can already, by just glancing, you already can pull and look at the data in comparison to your section that was tested, to your school, and to your district. But over here, you can instantly access different reports for the assessment. So I no longer have to click on assessment, go to assessment dashboard, find the assessment. I can do so from right here. But another awesome thing that is actually new under the Classroom Assessment Monitor is your test management. So I click here for my test management. And when I click here, what's going to show is 10 of the most recent assessment. And as you see right here, it's telling you if it's in progress or it has been completed. Awesome. It's already going to group them together. And then if you look here, it's going to give you the dates as well as what type of assessment it is. So if it's a My Classroom, if it's a district benchmark, if it is a school assessment, it's going to allow you to immediately see right there. And the other awesome thing is the passcode. Have we ever been inside of a class and you've posted it, you shared it with your students, and now comes time for take the assessment and the student walks in late and they say, what's the passcode? I can instantly click on my test management and instantly see the passcode for it. And then right here, I can go to my assessment dashboard. But if I toggle here and click there, there's some things that I can automatically do for that assessment. I can get to the proctor dashboard. I can look at some usernames. I can even score the assessment if that's what I need to do. Over here, the same thing. I can download as a PDF. So this test management is something that is awesome. And it gives you kind of a broad, quick view of the assessments. And once again, I'm going to come back over here to these different tabs. So I can go to my classroom test. And as it's pulling, what it's doing, now it's pulling data, right? And so from right there, I can look and I can go ahead and make some groups. I can figure out how I'm going to group my students, maybe what, look at, what areas my students need the most support on, just quickly, all from the Classroom Assessment Monitor, which, as we see, is from our home screen. So that's another update that just is awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So our next one that we're going to look at is our student analysis report. Okay, so we're going to look at our student analysis report. So let's come here. Okay, so from our Classroom Assessment Monitor, from your district and local test, or even your classroom test, this is where you can access your student analysis. So I'm going to come over here for a second and I'm going to make sure that I am looking at the correct section. So I'm going to choose my section and make sure that I'm looking at the right section, all from my home screen, which is absolutely wonderful. And then when that populates, I'm going to come over here and then I'm going to select the assessment that I want. And see that, I'm sorry, that's giving me my district. So let's go over here to my classroom test. All right. So right here, I'm looking at the most recent classroom test that was created. And from here, I'm going to go to my student analysis report. I'm going to click on it. All right. And once I click on it, what it does, first of all, it provides me with information of the students that completed the assessment, right? So it's right quickly accessible. It tells me the students that have completed it, provides me their name. And then these are some other areas or demographics that they kind of break down for us. So you have special education status, what type of race reporting, category do they belong in, but it also provides me with the correct score, raw score, and score group. Now, of course, I can decide exactly what I want to see, but it does give me an opportunity to kind of use these filters to see my students at a quick glance. Awesome if I want to group my students. Awesome if I'm having PLC conversations. Awesome if I'm having parent teacher conferences. But then it also allows me to take this information and export it to an Excel, which is really awesome because you can use filters as well as there. So this is your student analysis report that's there. I really like this because once again, it definitely gives you information, quick information about the students, okay? So from there, I want to go to the next update, which is our student response sheet. So with that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to test summary because that's kind of where you have to actually pull it from. And then from there, once I go on my test summary or any of these reports, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click at, export student response report. Okay. So I'm going to click it. All right. So now it's asking me what information about the students do I want to be on that report, and I'm going to click export report. So once the PDF is actually generated, this is actually what a student response sheet looks like. So what it does is it takes all of the questions and it puts it on a quick table. As you see, it has a line break, so I can cut this off, saving paper, and I can give this to each of my students. It tells them the question that they got correct, as you see with the green check marks, but it also shows the incorrect answer if they selected an incorrect answer, and it also tells them what the correct answer actually is. Okay. It also identifies your open response items as well. And it also gives them kind of their scores, how many points they received. And it doesn't give them, it does not give them the actual response that they had, but it does give them that it was an open response. So this is awesome in your classroom if I want to review with my students and I want them to be able to see what they got wrong so we can kind of have that conversation about what what information did they not understand, what was not clear for them, and we can have that if the students are doing like independent work and they have to kind of look at the question they got wrong and see the correct answer and kind of do some more work based off of that. But that really provides the students with an opportunity to kind of take advantage or take responsibility for knowing or mastering the information if we're doing some type of review. All right, so the next item that we are going to look at, the next Schoolnet update, is the duplicate test item. So right now, I'm in assessment that I just created. I haven't scheduled anything, but at the very top, once I clicked on edit items, at the very top, right here, it says duplicate test item. So if I click duplicate, it's now going to duplicate this question. And as you see, now I have 6 questions instead of 5. One thing that's awesome about that feature is that if I have created, maybe I have a passage that I've just created for a question, if I want to keep that that passage and I don't want to have to re-upload that passage and do all those other things, I can select just duplicate. And when I duplicate those questions, that question, it automatically pulls in everything from the previous question. So that's really awesome because that is something that was not there before. So that's another feature that is new as well. So another item that we're going to look at is the ability to co-author. So there was always the ability to co-author before, but now it even allows people to kind of work on it together. So while I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and we're going to show you. So I'm on the actual assessment and I'm going to click on co-author settings. And while I'm there, I'm going to click on co-author test. And see right now, I have a choice of who am I going to ask to co-author with me. So I'm going to type in the teacher's name. Okay, and when I type in the teacher's name, once again, I'm going to type in a number. And what it's going to do, it's what it's doing right now. It is pulling the teachers' names from this particular district. So once again, as you just want to make sure that when you are co-authoring, so right now it's pulling in and I'm going to select a teacher. And once I do that, I have a choice if I want to do view access only or if I actually want them to actually be able to edit the question. So I want them to be actually edit the assessment. So I'm going to click to switch to co-author mode. And once it switches to co-author mode, now I am editing this assessment, right? So if you look over here, it tells me already that it's in co-author draft, right? And so I'm able to edit. But remember, as I'm editing, it is locked for any other co-authors to be able to edit as well. So we cannot edit it at the same time. Now they will have edit access once I click finish editing. So I can make any changes I want to. And then once I click finish editing, now what it does, it allows the other teacher to be able to edit, okay? So that's something that's really awesome, especially if we're talking about creating common assessment and we're actually going to come together as a PLC and we're going to make these common assessments. That is an awesome update that Schoolnet has that enables us to do so, okay? Really awesome, and it's just a great feature to have. So the next feature that we want to look at is the co-teacher status. Okay, and that's actually going to be our last update that we're actually going to look at is its co-teacher status. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us back to home. So that you can see from your home screen. So this is the very last one that we're going to actually walk through. So right here, this is the home screen. I'm going to come over here to the far right-hand corner in the upper right-hand corner, and I'm going to select that person. Let me go ahead and close it out. And then I'm going to click my account. Once I select my account, what you see right now is my roles and operations that I have. That's not where we're going to go. We're going to go to section and rosters. So we're going to click that tab and then we're going to scroll all the way down. And at the very bottom, it says, is your class not listed here? Or would you like to request an additional sections assignment? We're going to click here. Okay, so once we click there, now what you have is it's going to ask you for some information about the teacher, school, or course that you would like to be added to. So if you don't know all that information, you can put the teacher's name in here. Then I'm going to click search. And so once I click search, it's going to pull in the sections for that particular teacher. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click it. I'm going to click one of the sections that I want to be a co-teacher for. I'm going to click request. Then it's going to say you have requested the following sections, and then I'm going to click request section. Once I do that, it is now going to send a request to be added. This is access that is can only be given by our admin for Schoolnet, which is actually Dr. Hunt. So once you do those steps, please make sure that you email Dr. Hunt and let him know that you have made a request so that he can go in and approve the request, okay? All right. So I do want to say once again, thank you for participating. We have went through the Schoolnet updates, and we also have discussed how each update can be utilized in the classroom. As I stated before, as you go through, you have the steps for each one of the Schoolnet updates, as well as a video tutorial that you can click on. As well, like I stated before, in the speaker notes, you also have how it can be used, okay? So this right here is definitely available for everyone, just to make sure that everyone can follow along and utilize these updates. All right. So I do want to say thank you so very much for your participation. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me, or you can email also our div team. Because if you email our div team, any of us can provide you support. And once again, the bit.ly is at the bottom of the slide deck. I'm going to give you about 2 seconds to write that down, so that you can access the slide as well as access the video tutorials that have been created to provide you support for your Schoolnet update. Once again, my name is Nicole Covington, and I want to say thank you for this opportunity to demonstrate and to show you the Schoolnet updates. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact. Have a great day.